Hey guys, welcome back to another thrilling day of Flashcasts. Today, Flash is going up against someone known as Probe. I've seen the ID around, but I'm not 100% clear on who this is. A lot of times, strong players, you know, they've played for years and years and years and might have 3 or 4 different IDs that they go by. I'm not sure who this is, but I've seen the ID before. So a highly ranked Protoss player. If I figure that out in the coming days, sometimes I'll like cast this and someone just happens to know that watches and will give me a message. So thanks to people who have done that in the past. Yeah, but this is Probe here in the top right of Kickback, which has been a very interesting map, I think, so far. I've heard a lot of Terran players kind of complaining about it, but honestly, I find it like very well designed for this type of map. It is a map where Nexus First seems unstoppable, but the way that they balance it is really kind of cool. He's just asking if it's Flash. You know, the fact that only the main bases have full minerals and gas and everything else mines out more quickly makes, and there's like very closed areas in the center, it makes for really interesting interactions as far as expanding quickly or pushing through the center of the map. So anyways, yeah, that's kind of my take on it. I'm enjoying it so far. And Flash just admitting it's him. And yeah, so let's see how Flash wants to open here. We have seen him go starport here quickly against things like Command Center first. He's really happy to beat him, to meet him. Anyways, the factory expansion is going to be what Flash goes for. And in fact, is he going to scout him first? It looks like he is, so that's kind of nice. Looking over at Probe's base, nothing big going on right now. Looks like it's just going to be a very quick Dragoon. I wouldn't be surprised if he's just optimizing for a pretty fast Nexus here. You know, fast expansion's obviously the strong way to play this map, generally speaking. Second pylon goes up, in comes the SCV, and the Probe will probably turn around because you have to know that this timing is a first scout and the Probe didn't see the SCV come. Well, some people don't adjust it, just in case there's some sort of cheese going on. But maybe he'll go cross like an end scout here then. He might have not been looking at his mini-map too. Sometimes you have to admit that to yourself. You're like, I wasn't really watching. Let's just go to that main anyways. But no, he's just going to box scout anyways. Okay. Okay. I feel like that's... you should know what the timing of a first scout is. Like, especially from Terran, because Terran doesn't do things like cross-spawn scout, ever, because it doesn't really gain anything for Terran. You really do need to find out, because you're playing a more reactive game, you have to find out where your opponent is at and try to figure out if they're making units or not very quickly. Whereas, like, for instance, Protoss can scout in any direction and in any pattern, and for Terran, it's like you have a general feel, but sometimes they just happen to scout cross-map, you know, things like that. But yeah, that doesn't happen for Terran, so I feel like he should have been able to scout this slightly faster, but it's not the end of the world, whatever. Anyways, the Probe comes in and actually fights against the Marine. I'm not entirely sure why. Oh, now I am. Never mind, that was stupid of me. And actually, if the Probe had gotten one more hit, he tried to pull it back. That was the mistake. He would have actually killed it, and there'd be no Marine in there. That'd be insane. That would have actually been such a good move. Isn't that kind of wild, actually? Like, I totally underestimated him for a moment. I think I maybe wrote him off a little bit when he didn't scout like I thought he should. But that was almost excellent, right? If there was no Marine in this bunker, do you know how much easier this game is for Probe? Like, look at how annoying this is. Now he has a second Dragoon in here. You have to actually pull a bunch of SCVs to fight this. He's going to pull both Marines out of the bunker. And he actually doesn't even put the hurt one behind, but everyone clicks to see anyways, so I think that's fine. The Dragoon will end up picking that off. And yeah, he's just going to run for this Marine because it'll just get pulled into the bunker if he goes after it. So some good micro. Flash will end up dealing with this. This is not the end of the world, but he's had to make like 5 or 6 Marines so far. And it's been really, really annoying. Okay, the SCVs are going to try to block this. Oh, really? I thought he was going to just block that for a moment, try to keep it in range, but actually it will remain a little bit. And he is blocking now. Beautiful blocking right there. And the siege chain comes out, so the goon will fall. So at the end of this... Oh, hold on. A vulture gets in, so Flash is going to equalize the probes right now, it looks like. I was going to say, you know, he was only going to be down like 2 or 3 workers. Now they're even because the Vulture slips in. Command center's done. Nexus just about to finish. So it looks like they'll be, yeah, just about even as far as that goes. Now, because multiple Dragoons were sacrificed, it is almost always correct to do a counterattack. You know, it just to make some Marines and some Siege Tanks and just kind of go across the map. Like 4 Marines, 2 Siege Tank is very standard, and you follow that with Rallying Vultures. And, like, it can really screw Protoss up, especially when you have a very damaged Dragoon like this. Right? Some shields off that as well. Only 1 gate, and he's actually gone to a 3rd Nexus very, very quickly as well. So this push coming out is definitely scary. He's going to have that 4th Dragoon, so with really excellent micro here, he definitely doesn't have to lose probes. He might need to pull them, though. Maybe he does need to lose a couple probes. Thing is, if Flash targets this one really quickly, you can see he moves forward a little. Oh, God. Smashing. Wow, lays the mine right next to the gateway. Really, really great position there. Okay, he actually attack moves and gets that mine. Gets that mine as well. So some good micro there from Probe. And 4th Goon comes out, so he is going to get the pick on this tank. And he's going to go for that tank as well. Yeah, there you go. And so this is basically held. He actually ended up holding that better than I kind of thought he would, especially after the beginning. It felt like Flash really... killing that 1 Dragoon very quickly was kind of huge. Ooh. Very hurt goons now. He should attack that. Flash trying to get a few more probes while he's here. And in fact, he is up by 4 workers now. Ooh, good surround. Gets rid of that mine. Okay, okay. Kind of wild. Where are we at? Robo. Wait, do we not have an observatory? Observatory coming up very late. 3 gate. So 3 gate Robo on 3 Nexus. He is down a few workers, but that's okay. Looking back at Flash's base. So Flash has started his own 3rd command center after a 2nd factory and an armory. So they're both playing kind of a greedy style here. I guess the one thing to note is that because the observatory is a bit late, Probe has to play a little bit safer, I guess, right? Because a push like that, sometimes you follow it up with a 5 factory push, right? You do a push like that, you kill a bunch of goons, then you go 5 factory and your opponent's in trouble. Here you can see that Probe with his fast 3 bases, oh my gosh, is going up to 4 gates immediately. 4 gate goon plus observer is very good at holding off quick pushes. And as his observer goes across, you can check what Flash is doing. But Flash is actually being the greediest that you can basically be at this point, right? There's not a single missile turret. Super, super fast 3rd base is going to be up and mining before 9 minutes. 2 factory siege tanks with an armory, and the starport coming up so fast he's going to be able to get into upgrade Terran. So this is like an insane looking position for Flash. Observer is coming across. There are some missile turrets that have been made at this point, by the way. He has added a couple into good locations. Kind of sees what's going on. I think he has a pretty good read at this point. Yeah, he can fly right in and get the full look. And once he sees the starport, I'm going to be honest, he should take a 5th base. Right? Okay, so sees the armory, sees only 2 factories, sees the 2nd armory. Okay, he has all the intel he needs right now. Okay? He has his 4th base already going up. There is absolutely no reason not to take another base. This is my very strong opinion. Okay? Your opponent's on 2 factories. He literally cannot attack you. It is impossible to attack. Not even Flash, and that's who he's against, can attack in a position like this. He's going for a super greedy upgrade Terran. So what you want to do, as I'm always kind of saying, is on 5 base, you put 3 base Terran into a tough position where it's like attack or expand. Okay? So I feel like right now, if our Protoss player immediately makes a 5th Nexus, like just make it down here or something, or, you know, wherever. Well, not here and not here. But, you know, somewhere reasonable. Go make a 5th Nexus. And then Flash, he has to add his factories. He has to supply up. And in that time, you can either get into your Arbiters or your Psystorm, right? Whichever one it is that you want to go. Here, it looks like it's going to be Arbiter, I believe. Yeah, Starport Yeah, there is a Templar Archive, so definitely going to be Arbiter. Adding some additional gates. He has that 4th Nexus. No probes at it yet. Definitely needs to send those down ASAP. Has a probe in position to get another base. Flash scanning all over the place. Does have that 2-1 on the way. Flash is definitely going to attempt to hit a 2-1 timing push, is my guess here. If his opponent stays 4 base, he doesn't have to attack. He can actually push out and take a 4th himself. But that 5th base, when they take a 5th base, you really got to decide, right? You have to be very decisive against that. And that's part of the reason why something like this can be a little bit tough. And the fact that he's doing it with Upgrade Terran is very interesting, because we have seen some builds lately where it's like a 3rd base quickly like this, but then like just really fast 8-fact. When you're getting 2-1 upgrades as well, it really slows the 8-fact down a bit, but not too much. It's not like you can't do that type of timing push still. 57 workers against 65. Over here we have not that many gates, only 8 gateways here for probe. He has his Zealot legs as well as stasis on the way. It's got a very, very healthy probe count right now at 68. Looking really good. I love that Flash has a bunch of units here. If anything gets close, he'll siege up and just smatter it. And Flash on his own 8 factories now. Looks like he's getting into science vessels right away. Probably get that EMP. You don't need to start EMP until about the time that the science vessel finishes, because that's about how long it will take for the 100 energy to come along. So Flash looks like he wants to maybe push out a little bit. Yeah, he's going to splatter a few of these Dragoons at least. Probe throwing down a bit of a wall. So the 5th base going to be up and mining. Again, this is putting... I've been looking for like exactly what I want to call something like this. It's like a passive pressure, right? Like where like this is like kind of an economic pressure. It's not that you've hurt Flash's economy, but your economy is getting so large that your opponent isn't going to be able to hang with you, right? So like Flash here, 3 base against 5. You don't want to be down 2 base. Being down 1 base is generally Terran favored. Being down 2 base is generally Protoss favored. I think that's a useful way to look at it, I would say. Now, a lot of Vultures out in the map just kind of laying some mines. I think he's trying to divide everything up, see if he can catch some units, see where everything's at. In fact, he's going to see, okay, Arbiter's out. Okay, a lot of Speed Zealots. Okay, trying to get some mines in there. Gets a few decent hits. You can see our Protoss player is maxed out at this point. Flash being kind of annoying with some of the Vultures. EMP is almost done. And 100 energy is ready on that as well. 3-2 started. So this is a very important moment. Flash, by the way, down 12 workers. So if you up 12 supply, he's down about 20 army supply right now. But a much higher quality army. If he hits EMP on this Arbiter, his army can absolutely win this fight. You're gonna need a decent stasis. Oh, he hits it and hits it on the side. Doesn't hit that many units, but hits a few units. Hits a few units there. All right, so a pretty big bank here for Probe. The 8 facts for Flash, still massing up. That EMP, again, crucially important that he hit that. And we don't have, like, another Arbiter flying around. A lot of gates on the way. Adding some more cannons in here as well as these Vultures continue to work on that pylon wall. Flash is kind of rotating around. He's trying to get a very good position here, right? If you attack into this, you're not going to win that fight. But if he attacks into you, you're probably going to win that fight because you're kind of pre-spread a bit. And he's super clumped here, you can see, but that's because he EMP'd the Arbiter. The second Arbiter, not enough energy yet. So, yeah, it's spell-free right now for Flash. And he wants to get this engagement without any spells. It's like what you want here as Terran. But, yeah, it does have to move forward a little bit. His Zealot's getting super, super clumped. Dude, I think Flash is going to crush this army. The Zealot's just absolutely disintegrating. But... okay, there was some goodness here from our Protoss player. He almost lost no Dragoons. He lost like 2 Dragoons total. This is actually like a very crucial thing to see from Protoss players in this matchup. When the Zealots are getting dried up, if you pull the Dragoons back, you're actually still pretty much okay. It's when you lose all your Dragoons that Terran just rolls you, because then they don't need siege mode, right? So he keeps his Dragoons mostly alive. Okay, he's going to tank with some Zealots. Look at, as the Zealots die, literally 1 Zealot left as he backs up. Very well done. Lots of production right now. He's getting a lot of production from these gates as well. Can bring up these Zealots as they do clear out and, well, just run through these mines as a flanking force against these incoming siege tank attacks. By the way, yeah, it looks like he did get EMP'd again here on this Arbiter. This Arbiter almost up to energy, but this Science Vessel as well. Oh my god, is he going to EMP it? Now here come those Zealots, and he does get the EMP, so no Arbiter spells this game, man. What is going on here? And once again, Probe attacking in, and look at him pull the Dragoons back. He lets the Zealots go in and kill a couple more tanks. He's really, this is some of the better Dragoon retention that we see. There's a lot of pros that make ASL/SSL that don't retain their Dragoons this well. This is like such an important thing to do. Now, a lot of Zealots coming back out of these gateways. Of course, we have a lot streaming up from the bottom as well. And now he's staying to fight a little bit longer. So you're seeing that Dragoon count wither up a little bit. He does pick off that Science Vessel, which is quite strong. And he's actually gotten the siege tank count down reasonably. Now, Flash has taken a 4th base during all this. He hasn't split his SCVs, which you need to do manually here. But looking at his army, you got to be careful. If he ends up losing all these siege tanks, Probe will have the ability to run away with this game. He's also double expanded from here. Don't forget, all these bases are going to start mining out very quickly. This one just ended, so he definitely, you know, he has 2 mining bases. I'm sure you guys have heard before, like, basically once you get 3-2 upgrades with Terran, you need to have 2 mining bases. That's kind of the key. Now, Flash pulling back, an almost completely Zealot army coming in. So these almost completely Zealot armies, like, you can basically unsiege against them and you just wipe them. And in fact, Flash going to just crush through right there. Okay, setting up some more missile turrets, has a few Goliaths out. Lots of gateway production still here from Probe. Like, it definitely looks like Flash has a decent position here, but again, I am a little bit nervous about a couple things. The fact that Probe has all 3 of these bases is very, very good for him. This army is not a finishing army. I know that it's looked like Flash has dominated this game, but Flash doesn't have an army that can actually kill Probe. And Probe has 3 very healthy bases down there. Maybe he'll keep this one, maybe he won't. Right? He's just about out of these bases. And the thing is, Flash is about to be on 1 base of 8 patches, which is no good. So even though this looks like a Flash dominant game, like, you really have to be careful about trying to finish your opponent on this map. This is definitely something I've seen in my own games, as well as a few of the games that I've casted here, where it's like Terran tries to hit the timing attack, they're looking really good, and then suddenly they're dried up. And this is why I think it's actually a really interesting map. With all the bases being so low on minerals and gas, like, look at how quickly, like, this timing attack, okay, on a normal map, if this was on Polypoid, he would have won the game with this push, right? Like, he got it into a good enough position, he starts breaking off units. Thing is, all 3 of these would be mining, that would be mining, and he would just have so much income right now. You can see he's broke at 150. But instead, we're in this funny position, you know, and obviously in this case, you know, our Protoss player is getting ahead because of it, where he's expanded kind of far away. He hasn't had necessarily the greatest engagements, but he did well enough. And now Flash is having a hard time keeping up the amount of pressure he needs. So right now, Probe trying to keep this base alive. It's not 100% required, I think, that he saves this if Flash doesn't get another base up. Whereas if Flash gets another base up pretty soon here, then this base is going to be more important in general. Now, he will end up clearing this army, and in fact, he pushes Flash back a bit. Flash cannot fall away from this position because it's guarding the 12 o'clock base. Also, now that the game is kind of slowing down, it's stabilizing a bit, this is actually bad for the non-Arbiter player here, right? the player with the Arbiters, like, if the game slows down, the Arbiters start to build energy and they can start hitting recalls. And Flash does not have the income to lay mines and put turrets everywhere. Right? So he's got to keep a lot of forward pressure onto his opponent. Now, I actually don't see Arbiters right now. There might actually just not be an Arbiter on the map, right? We've seen those Goliaths targeting them down when Flash can, so I think he actually doesn't have one at this second. Probe coming in, gonna try to knock out this area. Yeah, cleans out those Zealots. And look, he pulls back again. Seriously, very, very good. Like, the way he's taking the engagements are not 100% the best, but just keeping that Dragoon count high, running away as those... I swear to God, I'm thinking of so many pro Protosses that everyone knows well that just, like, they'll lose their Zealots and then they lose their Goons, or almost all their Goons, and then pull back. This guy is, like, so on top of keeping those Dragoons alive, which is so important. Flash chasing those Goons away. Looks like he is going to try to kill this base off now. It's only got about a third of the resources that it started with left. So it's not as valuable a kill as it used to be, but still good. Looks like Flash may be deciding to take the middle. This is not a bad base for Terran to take if you get that map control. Now, that being said, the map control is waning for Flash. He's down about 40 supply at the moment. We have a little bit of a counterattack over to this side. Looks like this command center, the natural, did float down to a new 5th base location here. Flash already sending some units to try to counter these Dragoons, but there's actually too many Dragoons here for that small army. The vessels come in. Ooh, good targeting there on the vessels. Killing off vessels right now is huge. Yeah, gets both of those. A couple more coming up from that other side. Ooh, the Zealots trying to drag mines into these siege tanks, and they actually do so pretty darn well. Picked off quite a few units. Flash has killed this Nexus over here. More and more units coming out right now for Probe. Flash ends up holding onto this base, but suddenly he's down a hell of a lot of supply, and that's really because of these 3 bases down here. Probe did such a good job, and I actually like the saturation. It's a little bit lighter than you'll oftentimes see. But I think lighter saturation on kickback is very, very good. GG is called. Hey, I bet you didn't see this happening. I bet you, and I'm especially looking at you, Profane, that you looked at this and you said, you know what? So obvious, LOL. The push was here. He's going to win. But here we are. Probe ends up taking down Flash. Flash getting beat. GG. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.